At this point, I want to shift just slightly to what's happened in our National Congress and ask you whether it happens here and to what extent in New Mexico. Congress is broken. It's deadlocked, although there's some light now that looks like it's starting to break. And I've talked to members there who say, look, I'd like to make a deal. I can't make a deal. I'd be voted out. All my constituents, or the majority of them, say to me, oh, you stand fast right there. You do not compromise. And I know that the only way to go forward is to make a deal, but I can't do it. Do any of you have that problem with your base? Both sides now have bases that are very committed and feel very strongly. Do they say to you, don't you deal with this other party and you stand fast? And does that get in the way of progress?
You know, basically what we are as legislators, once you're elected, you need to put a small case on your party affiliation. You're the only lobbyist the average person has in your district. To try to know what they want, and regardless of whether the party's there or not, that's neither here nor there. What your job is to do is the best job you can do for them as their representative or senator. For your schools in the area, the businesses in your area, and the things that are good for New Mexico that we'll all gain from. In my Senate district is so spread out all over the place, so much different. I only needed 18 signatures when I ran the first time. It's because I didn't have any Republicans. And I was so damn dumb I didn't know that. But I knocked doors till my head fell off, and I got bit by dogs, and I got just hammered with the doors, slamming in my face and in my face. But the thing about it is, that's what we have to remember. Once we're elected, all the partisanship is one thing, but we have to think of how the people in our district feel about us and what they want us to do. And it's our job to communicate.
Yeah, but
because we're never right all the time.
Let me just jump in here. I agree with you.
Go ahead.
I understand politics.
You're the moderator.
People in your district you represent, our forefathers set it up. They called it not term limits, they called it an election.
That's
and
right.
if you want to be reelected, you want to pay attention to that. But
if you work hard for your people in this state, you'll have this office as long as you want to.
Don't compromise. Stand fast. And if so, do they do it repeatedly?
I don't pay attention to that.
Wow.
I look at the issue of what's good for the state of New Mexico, in my best opinion.
I'm just teasing.
That's what I do.
Does anyone else want to weigh in on this business about your party base getting a little really tough and making it hard to make a deal?
I would say that you hit it exactly. A lot of people think it's Republicans versus Democrats, and what's happening is the further right reaches of the Republican Party saying, I was talking about Democrat primaries, Republican primaries. Ironically, you hear rumors about there that some of our own honorees are going to be primaried for being working in a nonpartisan manner. I like to say nonpartisan other than bipartisan. And so it takes a certain amount of courage to not only say that it doesn't take the courage of working with a Democrat if you're a Republican. It takes the courage of going back home in your primary, which is going to be a little left or a little right of what the moderate general election looks like. So that's an interesting concept. But I do agree with Stu, Ingle. There's a lot of us like him that said we weren't elected to be reelected. We were elected to serve. And as soon as you say that, it frees you. So this fear of reelection is a fear that you lose control over doing the right thing. And you have to say, look, I wasn't elected to be reelected. I was elected to do the best I can for my community while I'm here. And if I'm not reelected as a result of it, so be it.
Anyone else want to weigh in on this one? If you don't want to weigh in, we understand. Let's move on. Well, I'm fascinated by it because we've just seen a couple of examples. President Obama wanted it, he's got it now, trade authority. The Republicans wanted most of them trade authority, and his liberal left base just had a fit when they couldn't throw him out of office, and he leaves anyway. And then Steve Pierce, from the great state of New Mexico, he voted for the trade bill, and that was against Republican leadership in the House, so he got thrown off as a majority whip, one of the whips. So that pressure is always there, the reward, the punishment.